Breaking Bad just turned 15 years old, and to this day it is one of the most popular shows of all time. However, LEGO's never done any sets on it, most likely because of how adult the show is. But what if they did? Well, to answer this question, I've made 3 custom LEGO sets based off of some of the most iconic locations from Breaking Bad Season 2. And the first location I decided to build was Hector Salamanca's house, where Tuco brings Walt and Jesse and is eventually found by Hank Schrader. So let's go ahead and take a look at the figures, and of course we'll be starting off with Walter White. Walt is bald and he's got a worried facial expression, as well as some golden glasses. He's also wearing a sand green collared shirt which has some red and white stripes, and it's also soaked with sweat. He also has arm printing, and finally he's wearing dark brown pants with black shoes. Next is Jesse Pinkman. He uses the Captain America hairpiece, and he has a smiling facial expression with some stubble. He's also wearing a black jacket with some red and gold designs, as well as a skeleton design underneath it on his shirt. He's also got some jeans with black shoes, and finally, his alternative facial expression is very worried. After that is Hank Schrader. He has a puzzled yet determined facial expression, as well as an orange collared shirt with some cool designs on it, as well as dual molded arms. And finally, he has a gun as his accessory, as well as some gray pants and black shoes. Of course, I had to include Tuco, and he uses the fin hairpiece in dark brown, and he also has a smiling facial expression, which shows the grills on his teeth. He's wearing a collared shirt with a snakeskin design on it, he's got gray pants with a black belt, and finally, his alternate facial expression is very serious. Finally, we have Tuco's uncle, Hector Salamanca. He has a mostly bald hairpiece with some hair on the side, as well as an unshaven beard, and he also has an annoyed facial expression. He's wearing a rugged dark tan shirt with a white tank top underneath, and he's also got cords attached to his nose, as well as running down his torso. He has dual molded legs to represent his bare feet, and of course, his accessories are his wheelchair and his bell. The first build in the set is actually Jesse's car, which Tuco used to kidnap Walt and Jesse and bring them to his uncle's house. And although I don't usually like making vehicles, I'm getting more used to it, and a lot of you guys requested this, so I just had to include it. It's a pretty simple red car, but one detail I'd like to point out is the captain license plate that's on the back. But of course, the main build for the set is Hector's house, and as you can see, it mainly consists of sand blue and brown, as well as a gray roof. On the roof is a satellite, and around the house there's just some desert terrain, as well as some plant life. When you go on the inside, you can see the small kitchen, which just has some cabinets, as well as an oven, some pots and pans, and a bottle behind them, as well as a table with some burritos on it, and one of them is the one that Walt tried to poison Tuco with. Then over on the left, we can see a small chair, as well as Hector watching his satellite TV, and on which you can see the Better Call Saul commercial, which may or may not be hinting at a set later on in the video. Anyway, the door over next to the kitchen actually has a play feature allowing you to pop it out and have Tuco throw Jesse through it. Anyway, here's the set all together with all the figures, and here's the box art that I made for the set. The next set is Jesse and Jane's Duplex, a very prominent location in Season 2, as well as a very highly requested set. And the first figure is Mike Ehrmantraut, and Mike actually didn't show up until the end of Season 2, but luckily he made his first appearance here, so I got to include him. He has a stern facial expression with a white and gray goatee, as well as a brown jacket with a tan collared shirt underneath. He has some pockets on his jacket, as well as dark brown pants, and finally his accessory is a gray pistol. Next is once again Jesse Pinkman, and he uses the same head and hair from the last set, but now he's wearing a samurai shirt with dual molded arms, as well as some gray pants, and some black shoes with some white stripes on them. Then the third and final figure in the set is of course Jesse's late girlfriend, Jane Margolis. She has long black hair and a smirking facial expression with red lipstick. She's wearing a sleeveless black dress with a black ribbon, some gray detailing and some pockets, and finally some gray buttons. Like I said earlier, the main build for the set is Jesse and Jane's Duplex. It's mainly tan with some dark red roofing, as well as some white windows, and over to the left is a red for sale sign with a little note that says 1 bedroom, very clean. There are also some dark red stairs which lead up to the entrance, and there are 2 doors which are actually brick built instead of the normal LEGO doors. The reason I did this is because the normal doors are much too wide, and I wanted to make sure that this was actually accurate and didn't look too chunky. Now moving on to the interior, where the first room you can see is the kitchen. There's a cabinet with a bunch of bags of meth inside, as well as a flat screen TV which is once again playing the Better Call Saul commercial. Next to that is the bedroom, and you can see on the left is a giant pile of cash on the floor, as well as a big yellow bed, and next to that is a small table which has a bottle as well as a syringe. And now set number 2 is complete, and here's the set all together, as well as the box art that I made for the set. This is once again something I debated on building, the reason being that I already made Jesse's other house in my last Breaking Bad video, but I got so many requests that I just had to, and I'm really glad I did because I'm very happy with the end result. But the amount of requests that I got for this set pales in comparison to the amount that I got for this next one, which is of course the office of Saul Goodman, attorney at law. Of course, the first figure in the set is Saul Goodman himself. He uses the Commissioner Gordon hairpiece from the Lego Batman movie in brown, and he has a sleazy smiling facial expression. He's wearing a black suit with a sand green shirt, as well as a tan tie with some brown and dark tan markings. And finally, his alternative facial expression is much more annoyed. Next is Walter White, but this time he's disguised as Badger's dad, Mr. Mayhew. As you can see, he's wearing a white cap as well as some sunglasses to disguise himself. He's wearing a plaid salmon colored shirt with some dark red and red stripes, as well as a pocket and a bunch of white buttons. And finally, he's wearing some brown pants with a black belt. The third figure in this set is Saul Goodman's assistant, Francesca Liddy. She uses the Black Widow hairpiece in brown, and she has an annoyed facial expression as well as a red sweater with a gray shirt underneath. And finally, she's wearing black pants. The final figure in this set is Huel Babineau, and I know what you're all thinking, he wasn't in season 2, but he just fits so perfectly into the set, and I'm planning out the next few seasons, and I'm really not sure where else I could put him in, so I decided to put him in here. Anyway, this figure has a smirking facial expression as well as a bit of a mustache. I decided to base his outfit off of his most iconic scene, so as you can see, he's wearing a black jacket with a bunch of dark brown buttons, and underneath that is a blue collared shirt with a bunch of dark blue diamonds. Huel is a pretty big dude, which was pretty hard to represent with a Lego minifigure since they're all the same size, but in the end, I'm reasonably happy with how this guy turned out. Now onto the build, which is of course Saul Goodman's office. Starting off with the exterior, on the front you can see the Better Call Saul sign with a giant blue arrow pointing down at the door, as well as on the roof you can see the inflatable Statue of Liberty, which I built myself, and I'm very proud of. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and it used a bunch of cool techniques, including using a flower piece as the crown on the head. Now taking a better look at the back of the roof, you can see a couple of AC units, as well as the base of the statue inflatable, which just uses a bunch of gold bar pieces in red and white. Now moving down, we can see the entrance, which as you can see has a gray door with a window that says Saul Goodman, Attorney at Law, as well as a bunch of windows, one of which has an open sign, and the other three display Saul Goodman, Attorney at Law, and Se habla español in red letters. This set does have a pretty cool play feature where you can hinge open either side of the lobby and then remove the wall behind it to Saul Goodman's office for ease of play. So moving on to the interior, let's take a look at the lobby now. As you can see, it has a checkerboard pattern on the floor with some dark tan and tan tiles, as well as a bunch of black chairs for you to sit and wait for your appointment with Saul Goodman. Then on the left is a brown wall with some windows to the reception office, where you can see Francesca is sitting in a dark red and brown chair. Now let's finally take a look at Saul Goodman's office. As you can see, he's sitting at his desk, which just has some books, a mug, and a figurine on it. Then behind him are a bunch of pillars, as well as the Constitution on the wall and a bunch of windows. The floor is tiled off in dark blue, and on the right side is a comfy chair, as well as a bookshelf on the left side, and finally there is a small safe on the left side with a bunch of gold and coins inside. Anyway, that's all for this set, so here's a look at the set altogether with all the figures, and here's a look at the box art. This is definitely my favorite set in the video, and I really hope it lived up to you guys' expectations. On my Breaking Bad Season 1 video, you guys gave me a ton of suggestions for the next seasons, and I really appreciate that. It was super helpful when brainstorming ideas for this video. So if you guys have any ideas for sets I could do based off of Season 3, or Season 4, or Season 5, or even off of Better Call Saul, then make sure to leave those suggestions in the comments below, because they were super helpful with this video, and I always love hearing y'all's feedback. But anyway, that's about all I have for you guys today. If you did like the video, then make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing if you haven't already, but that's about all I have for you guys today. Have a great day, and go build something awesome.